A group of black Muslims in South Africa is making history with the inaugural Black Muslims Conference. With the gathering being so exclusive to black Muslims, it has raised eyebrows in some circles. Organizers say their aim is to shape the discourse affected by black Muslim in South Africa. Let's get more on the story now, and we're joined by Amir Muhammad Gadimang. Amir is of the Gauteng Muslim Shura Council. Amir, thank you very much indeed for your time. An inaugural Black Muslim Conference. What is the aim?
The aim of the conference itself is to indicate to the people of South Africa and the world at large that we've got a large number of Muslims of African descent in South Africa. It's an aim of trying to curb the xenophobic attacks that in most cases, as the black South African, we suffer as well, because we are classified to be foreigners, even though we are local people.
I was just reading your press release, and you say within new Muslim communities, challenges peculiar to the environments are being experienced that needs attending to. Tell us about these challenges.
Look, there are a lot of many challenges. When I'll give a typical example, the janazas, which is the funerals. When someone is a Muslim passed on, it sometimes becomes very difficult for us to access the body of the person to bury, because we are regarded, no, this person cannot be a Muslim or cannot be buried. People are thinking as Muslims we do burn the bodies, which is not necessarily true. There are many cases where we had to go to courts to fight for the burial rights of a Muslim person that passed on. And we have been for far too long in the background, and we are only taking the center stage to show many Muslim families, families that we are Muslims and we do exist and we are in numbers, not only few people that they interact with them on a regular basis.
It's important to know the history of Islam in South Africa. Can you just brief us about that and maybe put into context of what sort of the challenges that you're currently facing now are?
Look, Islam came into South Africa over 350 years ago. If you go into the Western Cape, in the caves over there, you will see clearly the writings of the Arabs that walked the land of Africa then. But then a few years later, through the Malays in the Western Cape, that's when Islam came really, and it stood for far too long in the Western Cape. Later it was followed by the sugar plantation slaves that were brought in the Natal. And over a period of time, a lot of black Muslims were introduced into Islam. Imam Harun in the Western Cape actually led giving dawah or telling black people about Islam. And across the country, Ahmed Didat as well played his major role, and many other ulemas, they played their role to bring people into Islam. And we seen a lot of influx of the people from West Africa and East Africa that came into South Africa. A lot of people during the time of apartheid, when they went into exile, they learned more as well about Islam, and after the apartheid they came back into the country, and Islam continued to grow from then on. Of course, some of the influx of Islam came with the Malawian nations that came over here to work on the mines. You've got the Zanzibarian in Durban that as well are part of the Muslims. So from that as a base, Islam amongst the indigenous Muslims, it started to grow. And as we see, I can tell you it's growing in high numbers amongst young people in the country.
Well, let's just talk a bit about this growth, and in particular in rural areas. What are you seeing?
It is growing as well in rural areas. I mean, we're having a conference now where the delegates, it's about at least 250 people, and the representation comes as well from rural areas as well. It is very slow in the rural areas, but the growth, it is there in rural areas as well. We've got rural provinces in Eastern Cape, people participating, Limpopo people are there, Free State people are there, Northwest people are there, Northern Cape people are there, and they are coming from far-fetched areas as well to come and be part of this conference.
So what can we expect at this conference? Who are some of the speakers?
Some of the speakers are people like, we're going to speak first, what I can tell, we will be talking around the issue of economic development, where we need to craft a program of action that seeks to address the challenges of black Muslims in the country. We will speak around the issue of education. We do not have education centers that really can provide for education to the level or the need that we require. We're going to speak around the issue of our ulemas, the religious leaders that are over there, their status and the role that they need to play in the society to take Islam forward. We are going to talk about the state of the black Muslim in the global political context as it is. There are a lot of things that are happening around the world.
What is the state of the black Muslim in the global
We are in a periphery. We're just folding our arms. A lot of things are happening, and unfortunately they are affecting us. We take insights that we do not necessarily know or even understand.
Why do you think this is so?
It is so because we decided for far too long to sit aside, and we are watching at other people to do, and we are saying it's about time that we're standing up. The terrorism that is going over as far as Mozambique, we've got a problem there in Mozambique, that very soon they will be in South Africa. Why are we not standing up as the indigenous people? We are majority, and this will come and affect us. It will come and affect our families, because Islam teaches us very clearly that we should keep the family bond and ties on a regular basis. Either I'm a Muslim, my parents may not necessarily be Muslims, but I need to respect them, and I need to defend, I need to protect them. In fact, even neighborhoods, Islam compels me to defend my neighborhood. So it's not only me that I have the right, even those that stay next to me, either they're Muslims or not, I am compelled by Islam to defend them. So we are standing up to say enough, it's enough. Things cannot be done in the name of Islam, not in South Africa, not now, not never.
You spoke about some of the challenges with regards to burial issues. So talk to us a bit more about some other challenges that you are experiencing as black Muslims in South Africa. And also, this conference, how robust is it going to be, and how frank are discussions going to be?
The discussions are going to be very frank. In fact, when we left there, 2-3 other speakers already they have spoken over there, and the discussions are very frank. We're expecting that the masses will interact and pose a very interesting question to shape and come up with the resolutions that will enrich the program of action as we move forward. Some of the challenges, as you say, for an example, people are thinking that Islam it's in contradiction with our culture and tradition, which it's not, which it's completely not. Some of our brothers or some of people, there's a practice where we would marry people, daughters of other people, without even going to ask the permission from them. Islam compels us that if you marry the people, marry them with permission of their people. Now, if the permission is to say pay lobola, it is incumbent upon us as Muslims to pay lobola, to sit down and engage with those communities. Now later on, people are having, it's a marriage of convenience, and this thing needs to come to an end, because they are causing a serious security threat even to the country. People are coming into the country and they will marry people for the convenience sake. We need to address these issues. Come to South Africa, and the Quran clearly tells you that if you cannot find peace in South Africa, hey, the world is open. Go to Zimbabwe, go to Mozambique, go anywhere. We do not stop any other people, but we say people need to come with the proper channels. They need to respect the law of the land, as the country as Islam, in fact, expect us to respect the law of the land. And these are some of the challenges that are brought upon Islam, that a lot of people, they don't recognize Islam as the religion, and that it's a big problem that we're having.
Well, these seemingly, from the discussions we're having, it seems to be big issues that you're dealing with here. This is an inaugural conference. It's, you would agree, a great start to get the conversation going. But what happens post this conference? How do you plan to change mindsets?
Look, until today, I can easily tell you, safely say to you, Islam, it's almost, if you like, divided. And what we are trying to bring Islam to the center stage. Islam is almost does not have a leadership in the country, which is what we want to pronounce on at some stage. We continue to engage the organizations that exist in the country to say, look, there are a lot of things that are wrong about Islam. For an example, Muslim personal law. It has been in parliament since 1996. Until today, we are just a number of Muslims in the country. Why it's so difficult for us to sit down and debate and discuss these issues? There are a lot of social challenges that the country at large suffers, the corruption that it's within the government. We are sitting folding arms as Muslims. Islam expects us to stand up and rise against the people that oppresses any other people. In fact, it tells us that we must go out, help the oppressor, at the same time help the oppressed at the same time. So we are folding arms as Muslims. Instead of going to the people and challenging, dealing with the social economic challenges that they have, we are sitting back and we are happy about the situation. And this is a real indictment against us as Muslims.
Are you being criticized for having this conference, having this black Muslim conference? Are you getting any pushback?
Very much so. And this is informed by the fear from the people, because they don't know the expectations or the resolutions that may be taken out of this conference. Some are saying we are an extremist people that are coming over, which is not necessarily true. I mean, to start with, black people are in majority in this country. If we are afflicted by xenophobia as the local South Africans, then it's a problem. If a lot of Muslims, black South Africans are becoming Muslims and they're not given the space, that it's a problem on its own.
Look, talk to us about the unfortunate, I would say, misconceptions about Islam that are out there. And how, I guess, the media worldwide in particular can, improve their reporting and report fairly without an intent to incite an anti-Muslim prejudice.
In South African context, we are told Islam is the religion of the Indians. If not, we are told that we take in the religion of foreigners. It's a serious misconception, and hence this conference to try and clarify that. But globally, we are told that Muslims are terrorists. I mean, if, for an example, Boko Haram, at some stage I was asked by the people that the girls that were abducted by Boko Haram, they were in numbers, and people saying to us, no, but bring back our girls. And I said to them, but the world has always been kept quiet when Boko Haram attacks Muslims and killed and destroyed masajids in Nigeria. It cannot be that any Muslims would go to a place of worship to attack Muslims praying over there. Not only a place of worship for Muslims, because Islam recognizes Judaism, it recognizes Christianity, it recognizes many other things. So it cannot be that in the world, as it is, whenever something is done, it will be one person does something, just because they carry an Islamic or an Arabic name, it will be attributed to Islam. This is so unfair to Islam and to us as Muslims.
Amir, your conference starts today. When is it ending?
It started today. It's until on Sunday.
Okay, all right. All the best for your conference. Thank you very much indeed for coming through and shedding some insight and some light on this topic. That was Amir of the Gauteng Muslim Shura Council on the inaugural Black Muslim Conference. All right, that's a wrap.